Hi guys, in today's video I will be sharing 10 ways to look expensive for less. Now, I'm pretty sure this is not the first video that you watched relating to how to look expensive for less. There are so many videos like these on YouTube, and I feel like a lot of them say the same exact things. Stick to the 3-color rule, wear neutrals, stick to basics. While those things are true, I wanted to share 10 different things that you most likely have not heard of, and I truly believe you do not need to spend a fortune to look good. So with that being said, subscribe if you're new, and let's go ahead and hop right in. So the first tip, I feel like nobody talks about this. I don't think I've ever heard anyone mention this, but pay attention to fabric thickness. I feel like when you're picking out like basic t-shirts, sweaters, going for thicker, more opaque materials, not see-through of course, looks way more expensive, and this for sure you do not need to spend a lot of money on. This is actually one thing I always look at when I'm purchasing clothing and when I'm recommending things to you guys. I always look at thickness and obviously quality, because I feel like if you purchase something thinner, it does look cheaper. I can show you an example here. I believe I still have this footage. I did a testing Everlane bestsellers video. Now Everlane is known for like their high quality basics. One thing that looked very cheap and it was actually really expensive was this like air cami. It was so thin, and honestly it was see-through as well. It did not look expensive. It felt very cheap also. It was like really thin, kind of scratchy, very cheap. You guys, this tank was $30, which is outrageous, versus like this t-shirt I got from Abercrombie. I was actually able to get it on sale for I think like $10, $12. Their clothing is like on the thicker side. They're opaque, they're not see-through. When you are looking for clothing, pay attention to thickness, because I feel like that definitely gives off a more expensive and luxe look. Now for fabrics that are like satiny or silky, those are meant to be thinner to give that like really drapey soft look. So in those cases, make sure those fabrics are just opaque and not see-through. Okay, my next tip, I feel like I talk about this a lot on my channel, but do not cheap out on jeans. I know this video is how to look expensive for less, but don't cheap out on jeans. Instead, keep an eye out for sales. For example, my favorite denim brands is Levi's, Madewell, and Abercrombie, which all of them do go on sale, which you can always just keep an eye out for. This is something that I think it's worth spending the extra money on, because I really think this will overall make your outfit look really, really expensive. You have a really high quality pair of jeans on, and then you can even wear some of your inexpensive pieces with it, and overall, because those jeans look and fit really well, the entire outfit already just looks way more expensive this way. Now, along with jeans, my third tip is avoid jeggings. Now, with the exception of being pregnant, this is the only time I wear jeggings, honestly, is whenever I was pregnant, because when I'm pregnant, I honestly don't care about looking expensive or looking chic. I'm just trying to survive and find clothing that fits me. Jeggings do tend to look cheaper, even though they are very comfortable. I do think denim jeans that are on the stiffer side, that have mostly cotton in them, a little bit of spandex, so that way you have some stretch into them, so a little bit more comfy. I do think those jeans do look more expensive versus jegging. Fourth tip on how to look expensive for less is it's totally okay, in my opinion, to look out for dupes. So I'm going to share a couple examples. First ones are these slingback pumps. These are a definite dupe for the Chanel versions. A ton of brands make shoes like these, this style. This is just a great way to have that luxe and expensive look, but for a lot less. Another shoe that's a great dupe, actually, which I didn't know was a dupe until I saw someone actually wearing like the real thing, are these flats. These are like an Hermes dupe sandal. These are a really popular sandal to wear for the spring and summer months. I bought these last year without knowing that they were like a dupe version until I saw it on someone. I was like, oh wow, okay, great. I just really liked the style of it. Still the same look, same vibe, but you spent so much less on it. So the only dupes that I kind of don't care for or really don't recommend you guys going for are dupes that literally try to knock off the brand 100%, like all the way from the logo. I would say it's okay to look for dupes that are inspired by that product. If it's somebody that's trying to knock it off like 100%, I kind of think that's gonna start to look cheaper versus more expensive. So just keep that in mind. That's just my thoughts. Next tip on how to look more expensive for less. A lot of people talk about wear your basics, wear basics, wear basics. Just non-stop. It's just always people talking about wear basics, which look what I'm wearing. But look for clothing that are elevated basics. So for example, maybe it's like a solid colored shirt with some ruffle detail, some lace, or some eyelet detail. So it's just a basic that is just taken up to the next level, which I think are great pieces to consider and include in your wardrobe. And I think this really makes the outfit look more expensive, and it also makes it look unique and stand out at the same time in a very subtle way. Which leads me to my next point. Look for unique yet classic pieces. So this could be purses or tops or shoes. So things that look very classic and very simple, but they are slightly elevated to look a little bit more unique. So my Poland Paris bags are a great example for that. Those slingback pumps that I showed you are a great example. So things like that, where they're essentially very classic, but they're taken up to the next level with an interesting detail or element added to it, where it just really looks unique and it stands out. A way that I really think outfits can look really expensive, this can be also mixing in different textures together. So you can mix denim with a sweater, or you can mix denim with eyelet, or this sweater, for example, it's in this puffy sleeve like eyelet top. This is a more expensive top, so it doesn't really go with this video. It's actually stupidly overpriced, but you can still find tops like this for way cheaper. But this one is like a knit sweater material, and then I have these puffy sleeves with these flower appliques added to it, which is so unique and so fun, yet it's still really simple. By having it in white, it's elevated by mixing the two different fabrics together, from the sleeves to the body of the top. So when you are putting outfits together, great way to do that is mix different textures and materials together. And of course, just make sure you stick to like the 3-color rule, stick to neutral colors when you do this. I think this will help balance out those more unique pieces if those unique pieces are in solid colors, neutral colors, because you don't want it to be too much. So my 8th tip is look for fabrics that look more expensive but are not necessarily expensive. So this can be like thicker knit sweaters, thicker cotton t-shirts like I just mentioned, also very silky, shiny, drapey fabrics, lace. All are more expensive looking materials, but you can still find these things for well below $50 in my experience. I found so many like nice, beautiful, silky fabric, lace as well, and eyelet. So those kinds of fabrics look more expensive, but you can still totally find them for under $50 easily. Next tip is something to avoid. So avoid wearing those really thin, high, like stiletto heels. I feel like those kind of look cheaper. Instead, what I think gives a more expensive look is actually go for a lower heel and a thicker heel. So like the cap toe pumps I shared with you, pretty much most of my heels that I look for, I really love a thicker, wider heel. I think those do look more expensive and also a little bit shorter as well. Don't go for super high. They're not comfortable, first of all. And that thin stiletto heel, I kind of think it just is outdated. Maybe that's just my opinion. But the last and final tip, I noticed this on myself when I was looking back at pictures. I was like, huh, interesting. Okay, so I want to share it with you guys. Avoid wearing your bags, like over the shoulder bags, really low. I feel like this can kind of cheapen the look. I mean, it's not necessarily looks cheap, but I do think if you wear your handbags or over the shoulder bags a little bit higher, it does look better. So here's a side-by-side example of my Poland Paris bag. I didn't realize how low it was until I was looking back at pictures. I'm like, something looks off. I have it sit like right on your hip, a little bit above your hip maybe, depending on the size of the bag. For this size bag, I have it like around like my hip bone. Something so subtle really changes the look of the outfit. All right, you guys, that was my 10 ways to look expensive for less. I really hope you enjoyed this video, learned something new. I really wanted to write down things that people don't talk about, so something fresh and new. And also let me know if you want me to do a part 2 to this video. I feel like I can list many more things on how to look more expensive for less that I can do a whole other video on. So let me know if you are interested in seeing that. Also, if you are new, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more videos, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!